I want to conclude with a story. The story literally just unfolded, and the person who it happened with shared it with me. So this is not a story, klei sheni, klei shlishi, klei revi, klei chamishi. There's a man named Rabbi Aaron Michal Canarito, an Italian Jew, lives in Rome, and has been influenced by the community there, grew up there, and not long ago became the Chabad Shliach in the ghetto of Rome. Rome has a ghetto, and a year ago, he shared this with me, a year ago he put up the Chabad house in the Rome ghetto. It's a building that's 500 years old. It's the old ghetto of Rome, if you know the history of Jews in Rome. And he got that building and he put up a Chabad house in the ghetto of Rome. Rabbi Canarito, Italian name, Aaron Michal. He starts making programs, davening and learning, and Jewish programs and educational programs, social programs, youth programs. A lot of people come to the ghetto of Rome, so it's very, very successful. Just mamash a year and a half. And he tells me, on Chanukah, a Jew comes, 90-year-old Jew, comes into the Chabad house in this Roman, in the ghetto of Rome, 500-year-old building. And he asks the Jew, did you ever have a bar mitzvah? No. He never had a bar mitzvah. Wow. Didn't put on tefillin, didn't have a bar mitzvah, nothing. So he says, you know what? There's going to be a few bachrim coming, a few yeshiva boys came for Chanukah to help him out with all the activities. So let's wait till they come. We'll make a minyan, bring out the Torah, he'll get an aliyah. With him comes to his bar mitzvah another Jew. What's your name? Gavriel. How old are you? 86 years old. You had a bar mitzvah? No. So they make two bar mitzvahs, 90-year-old Jew, 86-year-old Jew. They're putting on tefillin, the 5th day of Chanukah. Talis, tefillin, Shema Yisrael, they both get an aliyah. He sent me a video of them dancing with the Sefer Torah. You should see it's like a soul coming out. It's something otherworldly. They're both like dancing so emotionally. They never learned any of this. Holocaust survivors. Shine. 86 years old, 90 years old. A beautiful, beautiful event. There was a few bachrim in the shul and the rabbi, the shliach, and these guys that dancing with the Sefer Torah. Very emotional. Zois Chanukah, the last night of Chanukah, was when? Sunday night, right? Sunday night. The last night of Chanukah. I think the boys had to go to the airport, they're going back to yeshiva, whatever it is. So he said he'll drive them to the airport, but he wants to do a public Chanukah lighting before, just that Chanukah should be lit, the Chanukah Menorah should be lit. But there was nobody really there, so he got together a few people, and the bachrim came, but as he starts the Menorah, a whole crowd comes over. Suddenly huge. People gather from everywhere to the public Menorah line the last night of Chanukah, and suddenly who shows up? The 86-year-old Jew who had the bar mitzvah just a few days ago, whose name is Gavriel Sanino, an Italian Jew. He shows up. So the shliach says, you know what, we have here a Jew who had a bar mitzvah now. He's a survivor of the war. We want to give him the honor to light the last night of Chanukah, the Menorah here in front of the Chabad house in the Rome ghetto, to kindle the eternal flame of the Jewish people and of Judaism. So this Gavriel, this 86-year-old Jew who just put on film the first time in his life a few days before, had his bar mitzvah, was dancing with the Sefer Torah, gets up, and he lights the 8 candles. It's very emotional, it's very moving. And the shliach tells the people, look at this, we're in the ghetto of Rome. The Nazis made this the ghetto of Rome, from where the Jews were sent to liquidation and murder. And the Chanukah Menorah is burning, our light is burning. And who lights it? A survivor who just had his bar mitzvah with his friend. And he sped a few words and he inspired the people and they danced and they sang. And life moves on. The shliach tells me, Rabbi Canarito tells me, he left me a voice note on WhatsApp. And he says, this Jew afterwards, Gavriel, tells him something. When the Nazis entered the Rome ghetto, the ghetto of Rome, they put all the Jews into the ghetto of Rome in Italy. The Jews were there for a long time. There were 2 little Jewish children, a brother and a sister. Mamish kleine kinderlach, a few years old. They didn't know. They didn't understand Hitler, the Nazis, the ghetto. They didn't understand. They didn't have that knowledge yet. So this brother and sister were playing in the ghetto in the street. innocently, unaware of any danger. Little kids, kids adopt to circumstances very, very fast, and they're just playing innocently in the streets. They didn't know that you have to be careful of certain people. And there's a Nazi soldier walking down the street. And by the Nazis, if you were a mouse, you had more significance than if you were a Jew. If you were an ant, you got more dignity than if you were a Jew. The Nazi soldier is walking in the ghetto. And what does he see? He sees a little Jewish boy, an angelic, cute Jewish boy with his beautiful little sister, playing around, having fun, laughing, running. Violently, he sees them. He seizes both of them. He chaps both of them with his monstrous arms, and he schleps them down to take them to be murdered. He's schlepping both of the kids, this little brother and this sister. Going through the ghetto, and he passes by, the Nazi with the kids, he passes by a dairy shop, by a local Italian man, a non-Jewish Italian man who had a dairy shop. He would milk cows and sell milk and other dairy products. The owner was there, and he sees this. He sees the Nazi schlepping these two little kids, and he's not a Jewish guy. He has a dairy. Quick thinking, he started to scream at these kids. I'm looking for you for hours. Where are you? Your mother is scared. Your brother is scared. I'm scared. I'm going to go crazy. I wanted to call the police. He runs over and he slaps the girl in her face. Never do this. Never do this. Never do this. What are you doing? And the Nazi says, oh, you're their father? He says, yeah. He says, oh, I'm sorry. The Nazi apologizes. The Nazi apologizes. And he says, take your children. The kids apparently were so shell-shocked from everything that thank God they didn't protest because they were just, overwhelmed. And the Nazi says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I thought they were Jewish children. That's why I took them. I didn't realize they were your children. Here, take them back. The Nazi left. He took these kids in. He saved their lives. Gavriel looks at the shliach and he says, I want you to know something. I stood up to lit the menorah. This was the place where I was saved 82 years ago. This very spot where this menorah is standing, that's where I was with my sister, and the milkman came out, slapped her, and saved her and me. I didn't think that 82 years after that event, because he's 86 years old now, he was 4 years old, I would light the menorah, Zois Chanukah, in the place where we were actually physically saved. And he says, and your Chabad house is the dairy store from where he came out, because the menorah was in front of the Chabad house. Your Chabad house is the dairy store. That's where he came out from. And right here at this menorah, we were saved.